Hello everyone and welcome to another edition of El Supercast. With me today is Luke, the creator of Bily vs. Snakeman, enjoying CTCon and everything else, I suppose. I would like to congratulate you on coming back to CTCon. It's always a pleasure seeing you here.
Yeah, same with you, man. The con actually this year, if you told me 2 years ago that this con and that con were the same con, I wouldn't believe you. It's really good this year. The dealer's room is great. The people are great. Security is great. The people running the con are great. It's like night and day. This place is doing really good.
Well, I think one of the things that happened is the crackdown on the bootleggers.
Yeah, they did. They cracked down on bootleggers. Their new dealer room, the new guy running the dealer's room is great. He's one of the best people I've ever worked with when it comes to dealer's room. And it's really hard these days to find someone that good. So we're real happy with him. We're really happy with it.
So let's get right down to business here. Bily vs. Snakeman updates. What can you share with the good people here?
Alright, so I had 2 updates in the works. One is the continuation of Hero's Quest, which is the second to last story from the main arc of the game. And the second one was one for all levels of players, called now it's called Pet Detectives.
Okay.
And the basic idea of that one is it's a procedurally generated whodunit, where you play the role of your character's pet because something bad has happened to you.
Ooh.
So, for example, your main character will get kidnapped or disappear or something, and then so your pet has to go around talking to the other ones and various people in the Bily world to figure out what went wrong. It's definitely set up for all levels, and I wasn't sure which one of the two to work on, so I had a Bily Club vote, and it came down exactly tied. I mean, not even like close to tied, 51-49%, but if a single person who didn't vote voted, I'd have it. It would be one or the other. It came down to exactly 50% on both sides.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. So I figured if I was the coin flipper, I would do Hero's Quest just because people who can do people at all levels of content have stuff to do, whereas the people at the top tier don't. So I want to get something out for them first.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm nowhere near the top tier. I'm still in season 11, just hanging out.
Yep. Yeah, a lot of people stop there, and a lot of people stop, I think, around the mid-20s.
Mm. Oh, I
done.
may get to the mid-20s. It's just one of those things. Looping just takes so much time.
It does. There's something. After the loop arc is completed, I'm going to do a big full pass with the Players Council over the game to try to get things like that out of the way. Now, I still want a trophy in there for people who get all the way to the maximum season, but things like the level cap that takes so many loops to get through, like I don't want there to be empty loops other than people who are going to season 111. That's okay. The long journey for them is part of it.
Yeah.
But for everybody else, it hurts to see some people do so much in a season and get all this different optional content and then lose it. Now that's part of the dynamic of the game, but after a few of those loops, it doesn't really add to it. So that's definitely something I'm looking at, is not getting rid of the level cap, but making it more lenient, so you can reach it at an earlier season. I'd like to see it even out at 11, but I wouldn't quote me on that. Of course, I'm being quoted right now, but I wouldn't quote me on that. But yeah, it's a different change from how I used to look at the game. But yeah, I want to get rid of that stuff. Also, once the second story arc starts, looping is not as much of an option. Not an option, but you don't need to repeat content. So it's just harder content. So I don't want people who manage to beat the loop arc early have to go back and go through all of that while they're working on Pirates.
Awesome. I wanted your thoughts on one of the newer conventions that you went to. I had the opportunity to check out this convention last year, Anime Next.
Anime Next. Anime Next was a pretty good con. Honestly, we only went to go see the musical guest. A lot of people did. There's the guest that year doesn't normally come to America, and this time it was on the East Coast. So to miss a concert for them when you normally have to go to Japan or California or Washington to see them, it would almost feel like bad business not to do that. So I did not see much of the con. Now the lineups for the con were okay. They did a lot of their lining up outside because they didn't have the room for the giant lines. Again, hundreds of people went to that con just for the music cast.
Yeah.
But it was outside in the heat, in the tall grass, next to the woods. So there was a lot of sun exposure, a lot of dehydration, a lot of bug bites. Now, we expected that, so we came prepared, but a lot of people didn't. And so I don't know if they could do that a little better. Also, they weren't prepared for the fact that people would show up days early to line up to make sure that they got in the front row, or that if there's only, say, 50 things given away at the booth, that they get there for that. However, even though they didn't have something they didn't have something set up for that, when I'd say the music community came to them and said, "This is the problem, we're going to handle it ourselves," by like making their own list of people in the order they showed up with, they were real conducive to working with that. So that was good. A lot of times cons that don't have the setup don't want to look bad, so they won't take like community organization on that, and so they'll balk at it, and it just gets really upsetting all around. So the way they handled it was pretty good. I don't think they expected the crush that they got, but once they got it, they handled it pretty well. So it was pretty impressive.
One last thing before you get started on the last day of ConnectiCon.
Yes.
Is there going to be another Ginyu Day for everyone?
Another Ginyu Day. You know what? I think I will. After this thing, I'll talk to you about it and see what we can put in store. We might hold it off a bit until one of the two contents comes out, and maybe I can put something in early on.
All right.
For the people who watch.
Thank you so much for your time.
Man. All right. See you next year.
Definitely.